Hey guys, it's MBSC1 again, and I got back from regionals, or back from Long Beach tonight, and I just thought I would do a video talking about how regionals went for me. I went to regionals on Saturday it was the Long Beach regionals in California, and this guy, I believe his name was Chris Silver, ended up winning the whole thing with Rayquaza Emboar, which is a really good deck. I tried to use the same deck on the next day because there was also a cities the next day, and I didn't end up doing too well with it. I just had really bad matchups and I drew really badly. But aside from that, let's just talk about my matches. So some of these are out of order just because I don't exactly remember all of the order, or like the order that they were all in, but I'm pretty sure this is pretty close to it. So I was playing Big Basic Scarborough just because I think it's one of the best decks. I didn't want to use I didn't want to use Rizian Genesect just because I don't like the deck at all. I just don't like that you attach on the first turn and don't really do anything, and then on the second turn you just Emerald Slash and set up. Basically, I just don't like the beginning of the way the deck works, and it's just something about it I just don't like. It's not for me. And then I didn't want to run Yeti just because I didn't think I had all the cards for it, and I also just don't like the deck. I think it's kind of boring, sort of autopilot, and I just don't like using it. But I ended up using that in a Battle Rose just to try it out. But yeah, I didn't want to use those, and that kind of just left me with Big Basic Garbodor or Darkrai Garbodor or like straight Darkrai, and I figured straight Darkrai wasn't gonna win against Blastoise or Emboar, so I kind of had to do either Darkrai Garbodor or Big Basic Garbodor, and I knew that a bunch of people from California were gonna run Big Basic Garbodor, like that whole team that wears the West Up shirts and stuff. Like a bunch of them were running Big Basics, and I knew if I was using Darkrai, I was just gonna lose to them most of the time. So I went with Big Basics, and I had a, a medium list, I want to say. I made a couple bad calls with the like max potion count. I went 3 instead of 2 or 1. I think that was a mistake. I think all you really need is 2. I'm gonna take a bite of my French toast now. French toast is delicious when you're a loser. Um, so I should have done 2, but I did 3. That was a bad mistake. Also didn't include any enhanced hammer, which would have been smart. And I just didn't test with it enough before I played in the tournament. I had used Big Basics for a little bit before that, but then I kind of switched around with decks for a little bit. I tried out Empoleon. I went to Darkrai Garbodor, and I tried Gothitelle Excelgor out for a little bit. I just did other things for a while and just kind of forgot how to run it and stuff like that. Like, it just threw me off for a little bit. And so I wasn't performing very well with the deck, but I mean, it's not that hard to fall back onto. It was mostly just my deck list choices. I think I misplayed like twice, but I'll talk about who I faced now. So for my first match, I went against a Ho-Oh deck. It was pretty crazy. Ho-Oh's not very good, to be honest, and then when you have Garbodor, you just shut it down. So I beat it. I got kind of lucky, actually. I mean, not really lucky. I would have beaten it. I mean, I think I pretty much would have beaten it every time. It's just that in the last turn, he might have beaten me if I didn't get my one bangle in my laser at the right time so that I could do 180. So I don't know. I still think I would have won even if I didn't get that, but I got a little bit lucky. And then my next matchup was against this weird deck. It was Ninetales, Mana, Musharna, Flareon, and I think Mewtwo. Yeah, that was it. And I got a tie against that deck, and I really wish I had a watch. If I had a watch, I'm sure I could have beaten that deck because I could have stalled just a little bit in the second game. So stalling is kind of lame, and I don't like it either. It pisses me off when people do it. It's just that in this format, the way they set it up, it's kind of like you have to sometimes. It's really lame to do, and I don't like when people do it, but it's like you kind of have to at some points because I know I would have, if we did best 2 out of 3, I know I would have won because time would have been called when I'd taken knockouts early, and like I should have won if we did best 2 out of 3 and had all the time to. It's just we didn't, and so we could only do 2 games. And if I stalled a little bit in the second game, he wouldn't have been able to win on his last turn. It would have been like the game would have ended a little, or the time would have been called, and then we wouldn't have been able to finish. And then since I won the first game, it would have just made me win. So I should have stalled a little bit. I know it's lame, but I wish I did because I deserve to win that match. To be honest, I mean I was playing better than him. It was just I wasn't playing better than him. He just kind of had a weird deck. And anyway, yeah. Then my next matchup was, I'm not sure what my next matchup was, but I remember playing against Raybor. I went against Chris Silver, the guy that ended up winning the whole thing. And then he played 3 Tool Scrapper, and I didn't realize that. I thought he just played 2, and I made this really bad judgment call where I could have ended him, but I Junipered instead because I figured he didn't play a 3rd Scrapper. But if I did, I'm pretty sure I could have won our 3rd game, but I made a stupid mistake. So, I don't know. He might have beaten me, though. So, yeah, I ended up losing to him, but he also had to discard a Dowsing and a Scrapper our 3rd game. So, that was kind of bad luck for him, too. Yeah, if I really should have just ended. I'm pretty sure I could have won if I did. It was a really close game. And then I played against Darkrai Garbodor, and I just wrecked it because Big Basic Garbodor beats Darkrai Garbodor pretty badly. I 2-0'd it, and that's just what it was. And then I went against a Virizion Genesect deck, and this time ties kind of went in my favor because I ended up tying against the guy, even though I really should have just lost because I lost the first game, and then I won the second one, and then the third one, he had to take like 2 prizes, and he probably could have won on the next turn, but we ran out of time. And that wasn't me stalling or anything, it was just that's how it ended up being. So I tied against him. I actually asked the guy if he wanted to flip a coin or do a high roll or something, and whoever gets heads or the higher number takes the win because if we tied, we couldn't get into top 8 anymore. So, but he didn't want to do that, which kind of irritated me a little bit. But anyway, yeah, so I ended up tying against him, and then I went against another Virizion Genesect deck. And this guy just ran through me. I mean, he had the Virizion Genesect build with Mewtwo, which is even better against Big Basics, and then regular Virizion is already good against Big Basics anyway, but I didn't have any E-Hammer either. I had no techs against Virizion Genesect, and Big Basics just has a bad matchup against it. Plus I was drawing kind of badly. Yeah, he just ran through me, and I got a lost on that one. And then I went against Yeti, and I sort of misplayed. It was kind of a controversial thing. It was like, with Landorus, I could have hit his Yeti or I could have hit his Thundurus, and I decided to knock out his Thundurus instead of his Yeti just because I figured I could knock it out on the next turn, and that Thundurus could have messed me up. In the situation, it made sense. But what I really should have done is knocked out his Yeti instead, or Snorlax if you don't like me calling it that. Because what he ended up doing was scramble switching his Snorlax because I had 2 DCs on it into his Lugia and then knocking me out with it. Yeah. So, yeah, I lost that. But it was a close game. If I included Enhanced Hammers, I'm sure I would have won, though. And then I went against this weird Outrage deck that ran Blastoise, and he didn't run any Tool Scrapper, and I was playing Garbodor, so I just got that out, and I won both games. Yeah, you gotta run Tool Scrapper. So yeah, basically what I learned is I need to include Enhanced Hammer, like 1 or 2 in my Darkrai Garbodor, my Big Basics Garbodor, and that I need to get a watch, and that I shouldn't assume that my opponent only plays 2 Scrapper because that basically made me lose. So, yeah, I guess that's it. I'm going to be trying to go to states at Oregon, and I'm going to start practicing with Darkrai Garbodor now and play it until then. Just because basically recycling catchers, I think that's really important. So that's all. Thanks for watching.